Well, hello gang, how's it going? It's the final render here, coming at you with a very early live stream. Very early live stream indeed, for this is a very special occasion. Can I got all my audio coming through? Indeed I do. So this is obviously a special occasion today, because we are getting some more live news on Fallout 76. As you can see, there is a stream at QuakeCon 2018, which is about to start in maybe just 10 minutes or so. And hopefully we can go ahead and get some brand news and speculation going. And it's going to be good, you know, because this is actually going to be a question and answers panel, as well as just kind of a regular, here's some new news kind of panel. So it'll be really cool. And it'll be awesome to go ahead and see some of the new news. And it's very strange streaming this early in the day. Like, it's just short of 5 PM here. And normally I stream at 9, 9 at night until 11 at night in the UK. So, a bit unusual. And we can see, yep, everything is coming through just fine. Got people in the chat and stuff like that, so that's fantastic. Hello, guys. How's it going? Nice to see you. As I said, brand new situation here. Some brand new news, some brand new bits of information on Fallout 76, and I am very, very excited about it. I submitted maybe 12 questions myself to the panel, and hopefully one of them gets answered. That would be cool. Can you all hear me and stuff, by the way? Can you all hear me and audio coming through and stuff like that? I need to know that now before we actually start. You know, make sure any technical issues are done before the actual stream starts, because we've got a little bit of time before the actual conference starts, so it'll be nice to know that all technical issues are sorted before then. Okay, so yeah, I can see all the comment stuff coming through. People are still having lots of good fun. Quake Daddy says, all hail powerful God Howard. Oh, Quake Daddy, there's a little bit of an in-joke right there. A little bit of an in-joke right there from the last event at E3 with the Quake Daddies. What is a Quake Daddy? I don't know. But apparently people who play Quake who are also daddies are just called Quake Daddies. Personally, I think they made that up themselves to make them sound, you know, cooler. But it didn't really work. Okay, everyone says it's okay, apart from one person, StuGem, who says no one can hear you. No, I think everyone else seems to say everything's okay, so I think there may be a troll right there. Canada Pringle says, do you think they'll talk about Elder Scrolls 6 at all? They might mention it maybe a tiny bit, but I very much doubt it. You know, Elder Scrolls 6, let's be realistic here, probably isn't going to come out until maybe 2025, okay? It's a very, very long way off. Talking like 2025, 2024, I very much doubt there is going to be anything that they're going to talk about. The only reason they really discussed what they're actually working on next, from what Bethesda said, was because they were kind of fed up of people trying to break into their files and constantly asking questions about what's next, what's next, what's next. Hey, is this what you're working on? A load of people Bethesda didn't really like that, so they said, let's just tell them what we're working on. It'll get hype going, and it means people stop pestering us, basically. It may do the opposite. It may just mean people are going, what about Elder Scrolls 6? What about Elder Scrolls 6? But, I don't know. It is what it is. Alright. And also, I suppose I could check my own audio, can't I? It'll get hype going. Yep, I can hear my own audio, so I don't know what people are trying to troll me right there. Alrighty. So yeah, as I said, I asked 12 questions, which I submitted onto Twitter, and I'm hoping one of them gets answered. But Vindicator Win says, don't forget to share the stream and get the share spike going. That's a very good point, everyone. Let's get the share spike going. Let's get the share spike going so we can get as many people watching this live stream as possible. Very quickly before I do the share spike, Mr. Awesome says, what time is the Q&A going to start? It is meant to start in the next 5 minutes. So, hopefully they actually start in the next 5 minutes. They don't spend like half an hour talking about, you know, sponsors or whatever. Hopefully they just get straight into it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take part in the share spike myself. It is very simple. If you have never been here, the share spike is, if you're watching, you've got to share the stream. It's very simple. Click on one of the share buttons below the stream. I'm going to go ahead and share it on Twitter right now. So we have started our Q&A Fallout 76 stream. Come check it out now. Okay, let's go ahead and maybe fix up some of the spelling and stuff like that. I really need to work more on my spelling and stuff when I send tweets and stuff. Makes me look very bad. It makes me look the way I smell. Awful. But okay. So, we have started our Q&A Fallout 76 stream. Come check it out now. Boom! That's my part of the share spike done. You guys are going to go ahead and do the same now. You've got to share it on your favorite social media choice, be it Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, Bebo, Instagram, Grindr, whatever it is that you enjoy spreading all the news on. Go ahead and share the stream on those platforms right there, so we can go ahead and get as many people watching as possible. Okay. What else are people saying, though, if I can actually go ahead and bring up the old chat again? It's quite nice being able to read the chat without having the creation kit open, because unfortunately, you know, don't actually get to see much of the chat when the creation kit is open because it blocks half the screen. It's a bit annoying. But let's go ahead and see what people are saying. The Kitty Cat says, already told the Bethesda stream that you're live now. Well, awesome. Thanks very much for telling them. They can come in and watch me instead. You know, they could watch this stream, or they could watch my stream with this stream. Because, yo, dog, we heard you like streams. So we put some streams in your streams. We've also got Stairway to Game in Heaven saying, I'm watching 3 streams on this, watching you and Oxhorn and the Bethesda channel. That's a bit overkill, but fair enough, fair enough. Are you going to get them all synced up on different monitors? That would be cool, so you can see everyone's reactions in real time. That'd be funny. And the Fancy Squid says, share spike indeed. Let's keep the share spike going. Let's get as many people sharing as possible. So we get as many people in here as possible. We've got 82 people right now, and that's pretty good. Okay, let's go ahead and read some more of these things coming in here. Cohen Rapangi says, next stream I may donate $200. Well, thank you very much, buddy. That would be very, very kind of you if you did. Obviously, we are saving all of our money for a new graphics card ready for Fallout 76. Because my computer is technically under spec for 76. In fact, it's under spec for Fallout 4, technically. RAM's good, CPU is good, everything like that is good. But graphics card isn't. Graphics card is actually, you know, 970, something like that, GTX 970. But we're going to go ahead and get a new one very soon. So what else have we got? Jonah Bergson says, Render, I love Warcraft, do you? I haven't played Warcraft since the first Warcraft. You know, the first Warcraft. I don't mean World of Warcraft. I mean Warcraft. You know, the RTS game that was in, like, what? Windows 90... Was it Windows 97? Or was it Windows 95? I don't remember which one it was. But hopefully, we go ahead. Oh, okay, and Neil Gortz replied saying, I'm watching this, by the way. Oh, community manager from Bethesda is watching this stream. Thanks very much, buddy. That's very, very kind of you. Hopefully you go ahead and have some fun in this stream, and, you know, hopefully you're not too busy, basically. Because I imagine you guys are probably pretty busy right now with all this new news and new tweets and stuff like that coming in. But hey, is what it is, isn't it? So yeah, hopefully we'll get started very, very soon, people. As I said, it's due to start at 11. But you know how live stream events are. In fact, any live event, sometimes there's a little bit of time and stuff like that to go ahead and wait. But who knows? Maybe they'll be ahead right on time straight away. But I very much doubt it. Like, fun fact for you guys, by the way. Before I started doing YouTube and stuff like that, I still do it maybe once or twice a year. But I worked on live streaming sporting events. And what I did during that time was that I was the vision mixer. And also, sometimes the camera operator. And so, you know, I would basically be in control of all the cameras and stuff like that during live streams. So I've actually got probably more experience with live streaming than I do editing video, which is very, very bizarre. But it's good fun going ahead and doing these giant live stream events with multiple cameras and stuff like that. But when it goes wrong, oh boy, you feel the pressure. You really, really do. Because, you know, sometimes people actually paid to go ahead and watch these live streams. And when, you know, something goes wrong or it's running a little bit late, oh boy, you feel it. But hey, it's mostly about how you respond to people complaining about it going wrong and how quickly you can fix it at the same time. You know, you need to be able to fix the problem while still telling people that everything's going to be okay. And it is a bit of a skill. But I think I learned that over the course of the years. You know, I did things like figure skating, rally car, ice hockey, gymnastics, stuff like that. And it's pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome. I still sometimes do it, maybe once or twice a year. But mostly, I do the YouTube and stuff right now. Okay, so we've got 83 people watching right now. Still, that is still not bad. That is still not bad. Like, typically when we're doing the building streams, we only get, like, 50 or so. So whenever we do, like, the speculation streams, we get a lot more, which is much nicer. In fact, when we just sit down and chill and play the game, we typically get, like, I don't know, sometimes over 100, over 150, something like that. So it's pretty good. Mr. Awesome78 says, I would love to know if they're going to release any DLC for it, and if they do, how are they going to have people who play it with DLC? There is going to be DLC stuff, but if there is, they've already said it's going to be free primarily because it's going to be funded through microtransactions. And also, typically with games like this, with kind of always online games, it's either one or two things. It's either a different world, so you can only access the new world if you have it, or typically they just release it for everyone. Really good example is games like Elite Dangerous, for example, where if there's a big update, everybody has it. Everybody has it, whether if you went ahead and actually paid a lot of money for it, or whether if you just went ahead and just bought a couple of microtransactions. Point is, you still have it. Everybody has it. And it's something which I think games need to do more, typically speaking. But sometimes, you know, Depends on how much the DLC actually costs to make, I guess. You know, something like Call of Duty, for example. I think they can afford to go ahead and have map packs free if they also have, you know, cosmetics and stuff like that. But they don't have cosmetics, do they? So they need to go ahead and charge for the DLC. But if you have microtransactions, I think it makes sense to go ahead and charge it for free, you know? It is what it is. Grand Fallout says, Mr. Render, sir, how do I do any without any money? Or how do I do it without any money? Oh, do you mean get the DLC and stuff? As I said, you'll probably just get it. You'll probably just get it, if it is the way I'm suspecting. What else have we got in the chat? Aiden Hinkley says, how can I get on their panel for Fallout 76? Well, you're probably going to get a job at Bethesda, I suppose, really. Get a job at Bethesda, work really hard, get to know the people, get to know the games, go up through the ranks. Next thing you know, you're on the stage. That's the way it is. And also, there was the actual questions about it and stuff. All the questions were submitted via Twitter. As I said, I submitted 12. I'm hoping at least one of them gets answered. That would be pretty cool. But then again, a lot of people are also asking the same kind of questions. So I do suspect that a lot of people are going to get the answers they want. But the question is, are they going to get all the answers they want? Or are they just going to get little bits? You know, are they going to kind of half answer all the questions? Or are they going to get all the answers to the questions? Depends how much is ready, I suppose. Because some people are asking about, myself included, are asking about the anti-griefing systems. They might be able to tell us a bit, but maybe not everything. New graphics are appearing. Can you guys hear the music, by the way? It's currently playing the music from Prey. Can you guys hear that music? That's the music on the live stream. So if that's too quiet, I'll need to turn it up. Okay, starting now. Let me know if you can hear the cheering and stuff. Here we go, people.
What's up, QuakeCon? Welcome to the Fallout 76 panel. You guys excited?
Hello there, matey.
I see some really cool cosplayers over there. Welcome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Don't show us the cosplayers or anything. Gosh. By the way, one of our subscribers is in the audience, TC Games.
Somebody loves you, Todd.
You should all put your masks on. we need a mask.
Yeah.
Okay, so I recognize those two, but I don't remember their names. I don't remember their names. But you can see them both in the NoClip documentary. Guy on the left worked on like Ultimate Online and stuff like that. And the guy in the middle, I forget what his name was and exact role was again. So yeah, can you guys hear everything still? Ashton says louder. Okay,
so I'm
turn it up.
Steinman, and for the next hour, I'll be chatting with a team from Bethesda Game Studios, picking your brains about Fallout 76, getting the answers to lots of questions, questions we gathered from a lot of you guys in the community.
Gary Steinman, what a name.
That they've been dying to hear answers for. But before we jump in, I'd love to play the official trailer for Fallout 76, the one we debuted at E3.
Oh, I've never seen this trailer before.
Because honestly, I could watch that trailer again and again and again. So why don't we all watch it together again right now?
Yeah, so I'm really hoping they reveal some new footage today because I'm fed up of editing all the speculation videos with the same 5 video clips. I'd really like to get some new footage today. Also, I need to hit record on this, don't I? Because I am going to be recording all of this. Vindicated Win says, turn it up again, please. Okay, I'll see what I can do. I think we're on full volume right now. But yeah, we've seen this trailer before. Yeah, everything's on full volume now, guys. If I could turn it up even more, I will. So I really liked this trailer, actually. This trailer was generally very good. It was very subtle, but also explained everything quite well. Alright, let me just see if I can do anything else with the volume. 100% audio there. Yep, audio is on full, people, unless I can do something on this end.
After our great nation began,
we've all seen this one anyway,
right?
right?
To honor the completion of Vault 76.
Just make it a bit louder for you guys.
This sprawling underground shelter may have been engineered by Vault Tech, but it was built by you. So that if the bombs do come, our way of life will endure.
Should be a bit louder now for you guys.
Almost heaven.
West Virginia. I was very happy when this song was released to go ahead and download it. They did it for charity as well, which is really, really nice. And the original song is by John Denver. And I suppose it's an okay song, but it does that thing that country music does where it kind of harmonizes between two singers. And I really, really hate that. You know, when they got like a woman and a man and they're harmonizing at the same time? Really doesn't work. I hate that. But it's something that country just absolutely loves. We got country and western. So yeah, the amount of times I've spent watching this trailer and analysing it, looking at the weapons, looking at the actual uniforms themselves, trying to work out what generation the Vault-Tec uniforms are from, looking at the enemies and stuff like that, looking at the background, find out where things are on the map. It's beautiful. It really, really is.
But hearts and minds, and ultimately
Turn it up again now.
itself.
Greenbrier Hotel. Definitely suspect that'll have something to do with the main story. Has Bethesda ever covered a music video before?
Our future
Or covered a track to
begins.
use in their game? Or they just always use the originals? Anyways, let's go.
This doesn't get old.
No, it doesn't. I mean,
Everyone started clapping. I got goosebumps.
Yeah. It's like a
was
religious
awesome.
experience, like a communal experience, hearing people, watching some of you sing along to the song. It's amazing. Yeah.
It'll be stuck in my head.
Forever. So let's get started. I'd like to introduce the team here, starting with development director Chris Meyer, who...
Chris Meyer, okay. Yeah, as I said, I think he worked on Ultima Online.
Local or extended local. You're right down the road in Austin.
Austin, Texas. I've been there since '95, so it's a great city, Austin.
Never been in
Project
Texas.
leader
Sorry.
Jeff Gardner.
Jeff Gardner. Is that 2 Gs?
And of course, game director Todd Howard. So,
And Gary.
and
Gary
introduce myself.
Steinman.
Well, I'm Gary.
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 I promise tough questions, and they'll come, but let's start with an easy one, or what should be an easy one. Todd, what exactly is Fallout 76?
That's a good question.
Very good question.
I mean, the short answer is, I think people know, Fallout 76 is an open-world RPG set in the Fallout universe that has a lot of systemic and survival qualities. And the big difference with other games or games that we've done, are that every character you see is a real human that is playing the game, and that creates some really exciting scenarios that we never can anticipate.
You used the word systemic. And we've got Chris here, who worked on one of the granddaddies of all systemic online games, Ultima Online.
There we go.
And now you're working on Fallout 76.
He's a good person to
Tell
hire
us
if you
about
want to
your
make an online
journey
game, really, isn't he? Someone who works on Ultima Online.
To work on this
Even
game,
if it was a long time
but
ago.
also your excitement, your experience, and what you're bringing to Fallout 76 in terms of that kind of systemic online game.
But Ultima Online is the reason I'm in the industry. It was the first game I worked on, and how I cut my teeth working on sandbox games with lots and lots of players. So it is a dream come true to sort of bring that experience to the Fallout universe, which is a beloved franchise for me personally.
And what do you do? So, Jeff, what do you do hour to hour, minute to minute in the game? I mean, people know what a Fallout game is and what you do in a Fallout game. Is it similar here? Do you have quests? Do you have activities? What goes on?
You have quests, tons of systemic activities.
So
I
there are
mean, it's
quests.
very similar to the Fallout you know and love. The major difference is obviously, as you've heard, it's online. And there's a lot of tension created with other characters. Are they friendly? Are they foes? We really dug into the survival elements and the crafting elements of the game, the workshop and camp elements.
Yeah, the crafting.
So we really hope it's really like a place that
Do
once
they mean
you're
like
in
out and
it,
about,
you're
only in your
sucked
camp?
in for hours.
I
So we
want that.
find at work, like we just sucked hours go by, and we're like, oh my God, I got work to do. And we're still playing the game, so it's wonderful. Yeah, it's great.
And I think and people who come to the office and play it, at first they're like, this is the Fallout I know and love. So I think like 80% of it probably is the Fallout everyone is used to, and the other 20% is really different. And it's at times
So it's
a little hard to
80%
explain,
normal Fallout.
You know, this is the flow and how it feels.
Sweet.
Because at one point it's comfortable, and the other side it's all new.
Which brings me to another variation on that question. Is this the right game for Fallout fans?
Could be.
Well, I think so, but I don't really know. There are so many types of Fallout
need to vary things
fans,
up, of course,
right?
don't you?
You see
You
everybody
need to.
here, and there's so many things in our games, and some people love just the exploration, the character building, the stories, the combat, crafting, and so it has all of those things. Obviously, the thing it doesn't
people play
have are
Fallout for crafting?
NPCs that are going to be specific characters that tell you a story that we've written. We love those things. We understand a lot of our fans love those things. And this one replaces that with the other players. They are the interesting NPCs.
That's a good point, yeah. It's like no one's going to have the same story
in a lot of ways,
ever.
more interesting than what we may create on our own. So that part's very
sure,
different.
I love
can't
the
say
written
it's,
stories.
You know, better or worse.
But everyone will get a different story, which is nice. It's cool.
You know, when you sit down and play it, it feels like a new Fallout game.
But there's no one type of Fallout. And we've talked about this around the office a little bit, too. There's no one type of Fallout fan, is there?
No, not at all. And if you look at the old games, you're coming from an isometric, more turn-based type thing to what today is a, it has more adventure elements in terms of exploring a world and what that means to feel like.
I suppose so, yeah. The first one was very
that's
action.
Something that still
There's a lot
is
of action
very
in the first one.
important to us at the studio.
Not necessarily in the other ones.
In terms of, for the time you're in it, it has to feel real, despite it being a video game and menu stuff like. Sure. And that's what sucks you in when we play it. It's reached the point in the office where really we don't want to stop playing it. It has a very slow burn, but you feel like I am this person in this world, and learning how to survive and learning how to conquer it. It's very rewarding.
Again, it sounds so much like Elite Dangerous, which I love.
Why now? Why is now the right time for an online Fallout?
Well, we figured we wouldn't do it till we had done 70 more versions of Fallout, so we went right to 76. I don't know if there's a good answer for that. We had talked early on. We had, talked with Chris, who was down in Austin, the team there. We had some ideas of what
just try something new while people love it.
We started that.
Don't wait for it to stagnate to
Fallout 4,
dramatically
really
change
on paper. And Chris and some of the other folks in Austin actually started right when we were starting to finish Fallout 4 in 2015 to see how it could feel, what it could look like, and it kind of grew from there.
Yeah, it was great. It was taking a game that we love, Fallout 4, and then actually grabbing some network code from one of our sister studios, id. We're using the Quake 3 networking architecture, which is great, and then bringing it into the game.
So that's how they did it.
And then this one is for you, Jeff. You've got to herd many cats in your role, and now you've got these cats that are not just in Maryland, and not just in Montreal, and not just in Austin, but yesterday we announced
in Dallas, yeah, they've got a new studio in Dallas.
BGS Dallas.
How cool is that?
So
they've grown so much in like 2 years, Bethesda, haven't they? 4 studios. What other companies have 4 studios?
How are you not
pretty insane if you think about it.
Well, I am pulling my hair out. But it's, it's amazing. There's so many talented people across these teams with great leadership, and this has been a learning curve for me too. It's my first online game, so without guys like Chris Romero who have done it for years,
it's really nice just listening to these people and not just reading articles and stuff.
It's an amazing experience to be able to go to Montreal
just
and
seeing
work
them
with the
and
folks
actually
doing all the graphics
discussing
and
it
on
in
awesome, all
person.
these gameplay and network code experts. It's bringing this all together in a way that has been.
When you're writing your angry tweet and stuff like that, just think they're actual people, and these are the guys.
We've done this really quickly, we iterate really fast.
They seem very nice.
Everyone is really good about communicating, and we fall short here and there, but we all have what's best in mind for the game is always our #1 thing, not ego. So we always focus on that goal, and we're so excited to share it with all of you.
And for you, Chris, you recently joined, or relatively recently joined the BGS family. What's it like, the culture here, and how did you adapt to becoming part of the BGS family?
Once I got over the awe of actually being a part of Bethesda games,
2014, something like that.
Franchise. They make franchises that I've loved forever, starting with Morrowind. But after that, adapting to their culture, they're a very iterative studio, which I like. I love that we play the game every day, sometimes all day, and keep making improvements every time we make a new build. And it's a great culture, a great thing to be a part of. I love working with all of these guys.
That's great. So you brought some new stuff, Todd. And to be honest with everyone out here, I only saw this stuff maybe an hour ago, so it's still fresh to me too. Stuff about the character progression, perks, and whatnot. Why don't you tell us what we're about to see?
Look through the questions everybody has about the game. One of the big ones is, how does the character system work? Given that it's an online multiplayer game. So we have a bunch of stuff to show you all in the game, how the character system works. And we'll go through and explain it. One of the things that we're doing, we showed a little bit of it at E3, the You Will Emerge videos from our friends at Vault-Tec. And so we've done these videos for several sections in the game, and we thought we would show you first here at QuakeCon the one that deals with perks. So
sweet, let's go. I'll try to be quiet now.
You will emerge. Today's episode, Being a Better You. In life, we must each deal with the hand we are dealt, performing our assigned role to the best of our capacity. But after total atomic annihilation, you may find the hand you were dealt has been reshuffled. Yes, gone are the simple days of yesteryear. Now the common workman must also be a covert operative. The farmer, a master of the martial arts. The ice cream man, a nuclear physicist. How will you make sense of it all? Simple. Turn to your official Vault-Tec training materials. With these powerful tools in hand, you'll learn to make the most of your natural abilities and better understand what makes you special. Use them to be the best you can be, or someone even better. Your survival depends on it. With your future secure, share your newfound knowledge with others for great benefit. But remember, there's power in diversity. Sometimes who we are isn't a choice at all. In fact, at a particular point in your young life, you may notice that your body has begun going through certain unfamiliar changes. No, it's not puberty, it's mutation. Thanks to our old pal radiation, your DNA has become more interesting. See here? You've now gained the unique abilities of a marsupial in exchange for a mild neurological impairment. Now you've learned how to be a better you. You are completely prepared to achieve your full potential in the role of your choosing. As a hand-picked resident of Vault 76, it is your duty to carefully review your Vault-Tec-provided films yearly to fully prepare for the day when you will emerge.
Okay, it looks like you can share your perks with people in your squad and they can all use them. You can change them out when you want to.
Okay,
and
Todd,
mutations can be physical
that was a lot of fun,
abilities.
But I think we all have more questions now.
Yeah, it's... We'll take a little bit of a deeper dive here, and there's a lot to go through, and we'll do our best to explain it. The video does a great job of selling the IDOC parts of it. The mutation part is pretty fun. Your character can actually get mutated. But the perk system and how you develop your character, we've done a lot of interesting things there. But let's just jump right in and show you a little bit of the character creation when you first start.
Ooh.
You wake up in the vault, it's Reclamation Day. We have a full, customize
tools.
your character like we've had before. It's even better now. And let's go a little bit. You get to take your ID badge. We've added this photo mode in the game that's really, really cool.
The photo mode allows you to change your field of view, zoom in, zoom out, and you'll see all the filters that are coming up. You can do this both here when you take your badge. It's like a training tutorial for it. And then you can do it anytime you want out in the wild with your friends, with dead enemies, with live enemies. We have also added this to our load screen system. There's not a lot of loads in our game, but when you fast travel, there's a little one. And so any of the pictures you've taken there will pop up like a random deck along with our curated photos. This came out of a game jam. We do these game jams in the middle of projects to see what new features we want to try to add in, and this was one of our favorite ones.
Yeah, it turned out really, really great.
And fun for socially shareable stuff too, even offline.
I like it. It's good fun,
your friends. And so, again, you make your character as a whole host of it. You can take pictures where you want. You can also, anytime in the game, change how your character looks. because you're going to play a character for a long time, and you can swap out, change your sex, anything, your hair, everything, just so that you don't feel like, well, I don't like how I picked in the very first second what I look like. And really, really cool feature.
So yeah, fast travel confirmed, and you can change as much as you want.
We'll show you stepping out of the vault and the first level up and kind of dig into that some.
Love the UI.
So you get if you hit level 2 when you step out, you kind of complete the initial vault thing. And the first thing you do when you level up is pick a special that you want to increase. If you played previous Fallouts, we have all the 7 specials. And after you pick the one you want to increase, you then pick a perk in that special. So here we're choosing Gladiator, which is a melee perk. And then that is a card. As you can see, the perk system, the perks are cards. And then you equip those, and every special is a pool of points for the cards you want to equip. And each card has, I don't want to say mana cost, but a point cost. For how powerful that card is, and do you have the right special for equipping it?
Right. And is it flexible, or am I jumping ahead? Do you have?
There's some more on that we can get into and show you how flexible it is and why we made some of the choices that we did. But let's keep going, and then we can spend some time when we see a more complete character.
Yeah, Gary. Get shut down.
Okay, this is a level up to level 4. So we picked some more cards. We wanted to show you how the cards themselves rank up. Okay. So you can pick that card again. So by picking Gladiator again, you can then combine that card with the other one to create a more powerful version, but it costs more points. So sometimes you may decide, well, I only want the 1-point version equipped for my character build versus the more powerful 2-point version because I'm using my strength stats in some other way. Yeah, so I think that probably makes sense, yes. I hope.
But there's more than 4 levels in the game.
Yes. The levels keep going up and up and up. We don't want to make a game where you have to stop leveling. But we had to make some very interesting decisions of what that means for a multiplayer game for balance. So let's run the next one where we see it's a much higher level character. I think it's in the 40s.
Crossbow.
So here we are, and you'll see a character that's much further along. Picking Charisma. We can talk about Charisma is interesting.
Yeah.
Here's a perk that lets mutations act better with groups. And so you can pick any perk that you meet the requirements for when you level up. There's no randomness there. And here's what it looks like with a character that's further along. We've upped the cap for each special to 15 from 10. That allows better balance for which cards you're equipping. And the cards right now go from 1 point up to 5 points in power. And then as you level up, more cards become available.
I've got a bunch of questions about that, but I won't.
Chat a little bit. Keep going.
Okay.
Wonder if we're gonna all level 5.
I wanted to ask about charisma. Should I ask that later? About
we can talk about that now. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris. How does charisma work in an online game? If we're not talking about NPCs that you can influence, what does charisma do for you?
That was a very interesting discussion amongst the team to try to figure out what do we do with charisma. But it made sense in a multiplayer game that a player that invests points in charisma and collects those cards, they can share those cards with their teammates. So we've developed a system where that player that invests can become the person that makes your entire team more powerful by sharing those cards. We did throw a few cards in there for the single player. I think we have one. It's Lone Wolf, as I recall.
Lone Wanderer.
Oh, Lone Wanderer, right. So if you can still pick some charisma cards if you're more of a solo kind of player, but the person that plays in groups all the time will probably invest more there.
Cool.
Okay. So charisma helps squad-based stuff.
And you probably saw before, again, when you level up, you get, these are the cards that come into the sets you can pick from when you're level 4 or 5, whatever. Right. We also experimented with, well, how do we add some more fun to it and give you more choices? And so we have added, because they're cards, perk card packs. And every few levels, initially every 2 levels, you get a perk card pack, and that has 4 random cards. Again, you could have picked these, but it gives you some more interesting choice that you might not have picked to give you some flexibility in,
so you get to keep
your
them
character.
Regardless.
And then later on, you get them every 5. But let's look at a perk card pack opening, because they're a ton of fun. We do have gold. That one's great. We have gold cards that animate. Of course, you get a joke and a stick of gum.
Nice.
And the gum, actually, for fun, is a very slight. It reduces your hunger for a while if you chew the gum.
Nice.
And so they're a ton of fun. When you hit
wonder?
that level and you're like, oh, it's level 6. All right, I get a pack. You get to pick your regular perk and then also see like, okay, I got these other ones.
Do you only get
is
them
there
through
something I
leveling, or
want
can
to
you buy
swap
them?
out? And that's something good to talk about is the swapping
Right.
Of the perks.
Right, because you mentioned that, you know, the packs help you discover something you might not have known you wanted, but how flexible is the system, Jeff?
Sorry, Gary.
Go ahead.
You can swap out perks anytime. Generally, again, to reiterate, when you level up, you pick a special. You get a point in that special, which is the pool of points that you can slot perks into. You also get to pick one perk per level. Generally, you'll pick the perk from the special you chose, but you can also pick other perks if you have available points. And then these are wild cards. So every 2 levels from level 1 to 10, and then every 5 levels after, you'll get one of those perk packs. And what they allow you to do is to experiment with some other builds and cards you might not normally have played. Remember, you do start with 1 point in each special, so you will have unused points from the beginning, too, where you can try just slotting these in right off the bat. Cool. What we have found is that allows players to go, hey, what are these luck perks? And why do I really want to search containers for extra ammo? And as you play a survival game, you go, wow, getting extra ammo in containers is really valuable. And those, remember, you can also share those perks. So if you have perks to share ammo and you share that on your team, every member of the team can then find more ammo in containers. And these all rank up. So eventually you're getting like huge bonuses in the amount of ammo or food you're finding, or your carry weight's a big deal in this game. A lot of interesting back and forth with developers on how much you can carry or not. And you know, you see those cards at first, you're like, well, that's not as cool as being able to do plus 20% damage with my pistol. But in a survival game, being able to carry more means you'll be able to carry more pistols. So you know, there's a lot of ways that interplay, and there are so many cards in here, hundreds, and you're able to really do these cool builds and swap things in and out. And then I'm on a team. I have a great perk for this team that you might not want to carry. Lone Wanderer is a perfect example of that. Lone Wanderer, as soon as I play that when I'm playing solo all the time, because it gives me a bonus to my experience and damage. And as soon as I get on a team, I turn that off because I'm on a team now, it doesn't work. And I'll equip a different card that I can share with my team.
So when you say builds, you're not really talking about sitting there and having multiple kind of decks. You're talking about having more of a baseline and then making little changes here and there quickly and easily. Is that a kind of a correct way of putting it?
Picking a loadout.
Yeah, your character, you're still progressing the way you would expect in an RPG, and it's kind of growing and growing and growing. So it's kind of what Jeff was saying. You're swapping out a thing here or there. The perk packs can also sometimes give you a perk that is, we intentionally do this, you might get 1 or 2 that from a pack of cards that is a higher level than you are. So it's like a few levels in shooting distance.
Work towards.
So you say like, oh, I didn't even know that was a perk. Maybe I want to pick agility on my next level up because the game has given me this other perk and I just want to try it out. The other thing is, this is the multiplayer part of it, that when you hit level 50, you don't get to pick any, you don't get to give out a special point anymore. So that doling out strength and all that stops at level 50, but you still get to pick cards. So that gives us a continuing thing where, okay, I hit level 73.
Oh, no.
And I'm still like, you know what? I never got to pick that perk, because again, there's hundreds of them. I'll go pick that one. I want to try it out. So you're not, but we're still capping the, the power curve ramp that in our other games, like a Skyrim or a Fallout 4, just like your character keeps getting more and more and more and more powerful, and we knew we couldn't really have that in this one.
You talk about the discovery of perks, too, and how you might discover them in a card pack. You might see your friend using one that you never thought you'd use. Have any of you, in your own internal playtesting, found a perk that you never thought you would use that you're like, wow, this is really cool? Chris?
All the time.
Yeah. Any recent examples?
Well, I remember when I first started playing the game, I did exactly what Todd alluded to, or Jeff, where I always picked the % damage perk. Because I'm thinking, okay, I just want to do more damage. As I played the game and discovered there's a lot of value in doing things like building up your camp and doing a lot of exploration and gathering resources, I started to actually take perks I would have never picked in a single-player game to reduce the amount things weigh so that I can actually carry more junk. So I can then bring that back to my camp. And I find that I'd swap that out a lot. Like if I'm playing by myself and doing more exploration, I tend to use those kinds of perks. But if I play in a group, we typically have some objective in mind. It's something we want to go and kill, and then I might swap some of those out for the more traditional damage perks.
It's exactly like a loadout.
Yeah, Jeff, anything for you that emerged recently that you didn't think you would use, but now you're using?
I can't think of anything particular. I did get one of those weird mutations the other day, though. They're a lot of fun, too. So I was playing, and all of a sudden, when you have a lot of rads, is when you're susceptible to mutations, like in real life. And then I got a mutation called Bird Bone, but I didn't realize I'd gotten it, and all of a sudden I was over-equipped, which is always a frustrating experience in a game. And I'm like, why am I over-equipped? And I looked and I had this perk, and it let me jump extra high, but it lowered my strength. So again, like the way the dynamic systems work is incredible. And you can spend a lot of time in that perk menu, but remember, it is a live game, so make sure you're in a safe place.
True.
And then I have another question. Who gets to write the jokes in the gum wrappers?
That is Emil Pagliarolo. Or, he does all of the jokes.
master of the...
I'll have a job writing the jokes for the gum
He's done that
wrappers.
for us for a long time. He wrote the arrow in the knee. That wasn't really a joke.
What?
It became a joke. It wasn't a joke. That poor guy. So Emil wrote all of those.
He's got a really good interview in the No Clip documentary about all of that. Writing the arrow in the knee and stuff. Very cool guy.
So let's switch gears. I want to get to some of the questions that we've gathered up from the community. I'm going to call this the Thunder Round. Usually we do a lightning round, but we've got a half hour here. We're going to take our time. We're going to thunder through some really tough questions that we gathered up from the community. Let's start with the big one, the beta. Now, you guys want to play, am I right?
Yeah.
Why can't you let them play any sooner, Todd?
Just tell us the dates. I'm okay with October. Just tell me the dates.
There's a lot of chatter.
I'll pack up my stuff.
Look, we want everybody to play it as soon as possible. We're playing it now. There's a lot we have to do, right? There's things that we know we need to change.
Maybe if you stop playing, you can get it out sooner.
Fix before we get it in everybody's hands. And the other thing is, even though people are going to start playing the beta in October, this is a game that we're going to be constantly updating. So everybody's feedback is really, really important to us. The beta for us, this is an all-new thing, right? So we need to stress test a lot of systems. And that's why we called it the Break It Early test application, because it's going to break.
Oh, you're going to
We're pretty sure of that. And get ready. And so it's really, we need to make sure we're ready for everybody comes in, it all crashes the first moment.
It better not crash during my 12-hour live stream.
Right? It's going to be really fun.
It better not. But it probably will.
And then, making sure we're ready to fix that really, really fast. And so that we're in a good loop of, hey, here are the issues. Let's fix them and get everybody else in the game as soon as possible.
I want to pick up on something you said just to reinforce it. You mentioned that this is a live game. Of course, we're going to continue to work on it. Your feedback still matters. Because I know that was something that I think some of the community were concerned about. Yes, everybody wants to play it sooner than later, and I'm with you. But you will continue to work on this game, or you have plans to continue to work on this game and evolve it. It's not like it's finished, and then you're going to take one little round of feedback. You have lots of thoughts and plans, and we don't want to get into the roadmap, but...
Right. We do have kind of a roadmap in our heads, and this is a game that we think, with the community, is going to be a very different game a year after it's out, and 2 years after it's out, and 5 years after it's out. It's a game in 10 years, 50 years.
50 years?
We have big plans and what we can do with the game and with our community, and the beta is just really the first step.
The first step. The next big one, PvP. I think everybody is excited, anxious, concerned, highly anticipating, nervous. You've talked about it a little bit here and there, but why don't you just take it from the top? How does it work? What's the deal with griefing? How are we going to be able to enjoy our Fallout game? Or how am I going to be able to screw up somebody else's Fallout game and get away with it? Or any variation on that? I'll just leave it to you to...
This is why I don't go on Reddit.
That's right.
All right, we will do our best to sort of explain where we're coming from with PvP. We agree with those. Like, we have folks in the office, we have that debate, is it a, what is it? Where do we want the players kind of driving force? Is it a PvE world thing? Is it the other players? And for us, it is both. How can we do both? And so the first thing we'd say is that we want this element of danger. It sounds weird to say, without griefing, which is like, okay, those things are often in conflict. Yeah. So right now, and you've seen it in some of the E3 videos, when you shoot somebody, you do a little bit of damage. You don't do full damage. It's like an invitation. It's like slapping somebody in a bar. Like, you want to fight?
As you do.
And like, that's annoying. And eventually, you're like,
glove
yeah,
out the back pocket.
You know, we're gonna. And so you do little bits of damage. If you engage, then you're doing full damage. And there's a cap reward based on the player's level.
That's
so
what I
if the
theorized.
player's really high level, you're going to get more caps from them than if they're low level.
That's what I said.
If you want to, after each one of them dies, you can seek revenge, which doubles the incentive. So the guy kills you.
Again, that's
what
I said.
That was annoying. Then the game says, hey, if you want to seek revenge, I'm going to give you the double reward. It's like, okay, maybe I want to engage in that.
Sounds like
and
you
that's
don't
really,
lose
really fun.
caps, though. Sounds like you don't lose
The issue is when you don't want to engage in it, right? Someone's coming up to you, and they're slapping you and slapping you and slapping you. And you're like, I really don't want to deal with this right now. We have a lot of ways you can get away from them, but we still like it where they do, if they keep going at it, they have the ability to kill you, which sounds terrible, right?
It does.
To be like, why would you do that? We like to turn that into a dramatic moment. So the player that kills somebody that didn't want to engage in it, then becomes a wanted murderer. They get no
like
reward.
Red Dead Redemption. So if you want to role play as a bounty hunter, you could probably do that.
That's like the first applause.
You could probably do that.
Murder! So there is no reward. You get no caps. You get no XP. You get nothing for becoming a wanted murderer, except for the kind of social incentives people have online to be assholes.
Right. So you're just wasting ammo.
Which evidently
basically.
there's quite a few. So what do we do with that? We turn the assholes into interesting content. So they appear on your map as a red star. Everybody sees them, and they have a bounty on their head.
Again, it's like Red Dead Redemption. It's brilliant.
And that bounty comes out of their own caps.
Oh, it comes out of their own caps, I was going to say. Because you could just have two guys teaming up together. But no, if it comes out
they can't
their own
see the
caps.
other players. So
and you can't see people on the map. Nice.
And we did this. We had this idea. Like, let's turn it. Like let's make them interesting content. And it is when this happens, when anybody murders somebody while we're playing in the office, everyone sees on the map, and it is like it's awesome. Like,
yeah, that's one of my favorite stories there. So the other day we had a big internal test, and we had played for hours. And towards the end of the test, I had leveled up. I had actually started early, and so I was higher level than a lot of the other people. And I saw that red star, and I was almost about to log off, and I was like, oh, now I'm going to get somebody. So I had built a sniper rifle, right? I found a hunting rifle on a super mutant, and I built a little scope, and I extended the barrel, and I was like, I finally get to use this. So I fast traveled near them. Now on the map, remember, you see where they are. It's not super up. It's a little relative, so it's not super pinpointy, but you'll know generally where they are. So I'm sneaking, because when you sneak in our game, your appearance on the map disappears, no matter what state you're in, except for wanted. So my pip doesn't appear, and I'm sneaking, and I see him in the building, and I see him moving around, and he comes wandering out, and I took his head off with my sniper rifle. And he drops down, I go running up, I loot his junk, I dance, took a picture over his corpse, and logged off.
He looted his stuff. So if you're wanted, you could lose your items as well.
So
it works well.
What happens when you
die, only lose stuff
what
if
happens
you grief
when someone
people?
kills you? Like, Chris, why don't you jump in? What, like, if I decide to engage, or even if I don't engage, am I punished if I die, or there's got to be something?
Yeah, for a long time, we tried testing where there was no punishment at all. And that took all the sting out of death. People used it to their advantage to travel back to various points, and it didn't feel right. But we didn't want to make it too punitive, because we do expect people will die, and there's no save games like a single-player game. So what happens when you die is you just drop your junk. And junk isn't isn't worthless. You need junk to build things in your camp or to make better guns or to make better armor.
So you don't lose.
So what it does is it creates a loop where you go out and explore.
Toasters.
You create some junk, and if you happen to die, that's all you drop. You don't lose your awesome power armor or any of the guns that you've collected. But then you have to make a decision. Is like, was that enough junk that I need to go back and get it, or is that something I can live without? And what people will do is they'll go back to their camp and they'll put their junk back in their stash, which is safe. Nobody can take things out of each other's stashes. And we've also seeded the world with stashes as well. So if you know where some of the stashes are, it's always a safe place to store the junk that you've collected.
So just enough so it'll sting.
A little bit of a sting.
So that it'll really.
But you can get all of your stuff back.
It's also a little bit of a reward for if you manage to kill somebody. There's usually something there with them.
Nice.
And the thing with junk is it's nothing that you can't just re-get by if you just keep playing. Like that's that pile of it. But if you just start exploring, you'll collect more. So it's sort of like, well, that was sunk time. Do I want to go back and get it? And it's that happens on PvP. So if you do kill somebody, their junk drops and you get to pick it up. You get the caps from them.
Right.
You can take the junk, but yeah.
But it's just a little grindy time, and you got it back.
It's just, you know, we like it. We put it in. It's just enough to make it where before you head into a dangerous area. Before this, you would just run into a dangerous area. You don't really care. There's no penalty to death. It's like you just fast travel back. And then once we did that, it's like you just stop a little bit. Like, well, don't want to take a moment and like collect myself, store the junk before I head into danger.
If anyone remembers Fallout 4, screws are very valuable. So if you've got screws in your junk, you want to store
screws
them.
and adhesive.
You can't decide between like this awesome-looking gun or a desk fan. Like, they both have equal.
How does respawning work, by the way? If you die in a dangerous area, but can you respawn anywhere? What goes on there?
Respawning always takes. You can respawn anywhere you've unlocked, just like Fallout 4. You can fast travel wherever you'd like. The closest point to you is free, and the entrance to Vault 76 is free. Beyond that, you have to pay caps based on how far away it is from you. So if you decide you want to take that opportunity to go way far to a corner of the map, you're going to pay a small caps cost.
Fast travel costs money?
I was thinking of the Vault. Going back to PvP, it doesn't kick in until level 5. So that gets people into the game a little bit and understanding it before people start saying, hey, do you want to fight? Do you want to fight? Because otherwise, they'll just hang out. Because everyone comes out of the Vault. So you would just like set up your camp on all the turrets. That happened for a while. You're like, I'm really excited. I got the game.
Remember, for people who have more questions on PvP, you can already see some exploits that might not be fun. We do allow you to ignore and block players too.
There you go.
So you can actually, when you die, or at any time,
really
honestly, but especially when you die, we have an option there for if you're just done with that, you can ignore them for that session. Then they can't see you on the map. They won't be able to still mess with you generally unless they can find you. But this is a very big game. It's very hard to find people unless you know exactly where they are. You can fast travel easily. We also are entering a pacifist flag, so your bullets won't do that slap to people.
There you go.
So you don't have to worry about I'm fighting something. Some idiot jumped in front of my bullets and tried to get me in PvP.
You can avoid friendly fire.
We're allowing you to turn that off too.
People were abusing that in the studio.
Yeah. The pacifist flag.
Well, no, they would wait till you go shoot a creature, and they would jump in front of the bullet.
Right.
Yeah. We had our QA team. I asked the QA team, several hundred people, during one of our sessions to be the biggest assholes they can one session. We got a lot of good notes out of that, of things we need to fix.
QA knows how to play the game.
Yeah, they know how to play.
I do have one more question about PvP, which is if you are a higher level character with higher level armor, higher level weaponry, how do I even have a chance? And I get the slap mechanic, but if I want to engage and I'm a lower level character, am I just going to get destroyed instantly?
We struggled with that. So what we've done is there's two sort of power curves. You have the usual power curve against creatures in the world that you're used to in our games. And then, so if you take a power curve from like low damage to high damage, in PvP we normalize it, okay? So just a knife is gonna come up in damage and the really powerful things are gonna come down. So they feel right, but the death in PvP is quicker, and it works the same for armor. So if you play other multiplayer games, the guy in power armor with a minigun is obviously gonna be harder.
Right.
But if you get the drop on him with a knife, it does kind of work. And it makes it more fun without it being, well, I have no chance
weapons
whatsoever.
are more deadly.
Again, there's still a ramp
in
there.
PvP,
it's just,
essentially.
normalized.
Cool. Nukes.
And you get the caps, all right? So that's the other thing, is
Right.
why do I want to go try to kill a level 100 person in power armor with
You'll get the
when I'm
caps.
low level? Is that my reward is going to be way higher.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Nukes. Very cool.
It's a little feature.
But what happens when we're nuked? I mean, we know that things happen. We know that the area gets irradiated. Things are destroyed. There's higher level loot, higher level enemies.
I don't know how long it lasts.
Let's say I have a camp in that area. What happens to my camp? How soon can I rebuild it? Chris, why don't you jump in?
Yeah, well, first of all, nukes are very cool. All right, they're one of the coolest things that happen in the game.
Yeah.
But we don't want it to be overly burdensome to a player to lose all their stuff. So that we don't. When you nuke a camp, it does destroy the structures. But we've created something called a blueprint system, so that if you spend hours making a really cool house with lots of detail, you can blueprint that house. So it's very easy to replace it in the event that it gets destroyed by a nuke. It also makes it very easy to move your camp. So even if we're not talking about destruction with nukes, if you decide you want to relocate your camp to a different part of the map, you can pack it all up and you can put it somewhere. And of course, the terrain is going to be different, but because you've blueprinted your house, then you can usually find a way to
So if there's a
jimmy
nuke
it so that it
incoming,
looks
can you
good
just
when you're
move your house
replacing it.
quickly?
So it's very easy to get back to where you were.
So
The other thing with that is that the camp destruction part is really, it's easy to repair it if you want to leave it where it was, but we did the camp destruction exists. It's not really for like, hey, go blow someone's camp up. We realized when we put it in that is a griefing mechanic, is like someone wanders by and then you build a camp and you like imprison them. Now they have no way to get out. So they need an ability to damage the walls just to get out of the prison you have built for them.
So you can destroy walls and stuff. I was wrong.
It has less to do with, hey, we want other players to come and blow them up. The camp is also good for PvP, where someone engages with you and you lure them back to your camp. There's Ashley Chang in the studio. You can build like musical instruments, and he built his camp, and he's sitting in the middle of a road playing a tuba. And he's on this platform, and he had built all these turrets in the foliage you can't see, and everyone's just like, this guy in a tuba, like, and then the turrets go, and he's just like killing everybody. He's like the whole time.
That's fun.
Awesome.
That's fun. I like that.
I forget where I was headed with that.
I don't know.
I don't know what the answer is. The camp intersecting with PvP stuff.
Right.
And the other thing with moving it around, that was key because the game's so big, you come out of the vault and you find a place, you're like, this is where I'm going to build my camp. And then you play like 4 more hours and you're like, I shouldn't, like this view, I like this place better. So people tend to put their camp down, and then as they progress through the map, they are finding new areas, and then they kind of settle in, like, okay, I really like this spot.
First day, everyone's going to be around.
You meet friends,
76.
you're playing with others. How does communication work? Because I know that you've put a lot of thought into that, and that's even evolved a lot in recent days, months, weeks.
It has. And this was in the E3 stuff where we had the emote wheel we have, where you can emote, and we have the Vault Boy cartoons. It's really fun. We were big on communicating in a nice way with strangers, and we've had some successes there. But we have found that we weren't giving the other players, even if they were strangers, the ability to really be as interesting as we wanted. So now we're adding, we've had voice chat for your teammates, and now if you want to turn on your mic, we have voice chat for all of the strangers, which really lets them communicate, and it's a very, very different dynamic in the game.
Yeah.
Cool.
Area-based, so people around you will hear you talk. Yeah. And you can mute that, too.
Any interesting chatter around the office in your own playtests?
Any what?
In your own playtests, any interesting
There's
chatter?
always interesting chatter, and there's always cool photos that people are putting up from photo mode. I mean, it's a really fun game to play with people. I remember it was just a few weeks ago, I got to a point that was really hard, so I waited till lunchtime and then gathered a bunch of people. It's like, hey, you need to come help me with this part. So get a bunch of people logged in at lunch, and then we go and kill the super mutants.
Cool.
I think you'll have more fun playing with other people.
How exactly does VATS work? If it's an online game, it's more of a real-time, everything's happening in real time. How does VATS work?
It's real time. We now, initially, you can't target body parts. That's a perk.
Okay.
Because it's real time, like getting all the parts at first is kind of hard. So we did it where you get the whole body, you get the percentage based on your perception, and it's incredibly, incredibly useful. And so we did that, and it plays really, really well. So we're happy with it.
Yeah, it's not just useful to target and hit enemies, it's also to find them.
Yeah.
So you use that a lot to try to, I heard something shoot at me, where is it? Because obviously the game in certain areas is much more lush than our previous games, so things are very hidey. You don't know quite what they are.
I mean, the thing I personally love about VATS, I'm not the most skilled twitchy player, so it allowed me to become a much better player in a game like Fallout.
Yeah.
I mean, is that something, so for those who want to engage in combat, does it still help them in the same way?
It does. Because it's based on your perception, and perception starts at 1 now,
right.
It's not as useful out of the gate. But then the point is, if you invest, I'm a perception character, those percentages do cross a line where, oh my gosh, I'm definitely more accurate using this
Surely
than I am just
really
doing it
good
on
at
my
shooting,
own.
though, you
we try to
wouldn't need
strike a good balance there.
An easy question. I think we might have even mentioned it in the past, but who's doing the music for Fallout 76?
Oh, they announced it the other day.
He's done the music for other games. He's amazing. The soundtrack is spectacular.
Yeah. Yeah, he announced that on Twitter the other day, and that was cool.
And we have a lot of licensed music as well. So we have more tracks than we've ever had in a Fallout game. So there are radio stations you can listen to. Something we've loved in the series, and it's always fun to go through and say, like, okay, what are the classic tracks we want to have? And then there is an unbelievable amount of just
Fallout 4 repeated a lot of the same tracks on number 3.
Like,
some more tracks
there's
is good.
There's some wacky stuff. And it's great for Fallout. So sometimes it's like, hey, what's the mood of this song? And then other ones are, hey, this is the song that has, this kind of, the slant on the lyrics as it appears in Fallout when it's post-apocalyptic, make it really fun.
Like Atom Bomb Baby.
We know Fallout 76 is an online game. This question has come up a lot on places like Reddit. What about private servers?
That is definitely something that we are doing. We're committed to it. Modding for us, it's not just having a private server, it's being able to mod it. So mods for us have really been, once our games come out, that's what our hardcore players play. And they're still playing, Skyrim and Fallout 4 are two of the still most popular games in the world, and a lot of people are playing mods. And so that is something that, given the online nature of it, is going to be very, very complicated, but we're committed to it, and we've been, starting to design what that system is going to look like. But it is, I will say this, it's a complicated problem, but one that we are 100% committed to solving.
Well, that's just more of what we knew, isn't it? We know it's coming to private servers.
I think that wraps us up. I think we got through the questions we had.
Okay.
Any last words for the audience about Fallout 76, what you're excited about, what you want people to experience?
I just can't wait to see all these people in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. We can't wait to play with you guys.
I'm coming for you guys. I am.
I would say really it's seeing everybody here
I don't care about
and
the Red
what
Star.
our fans have meant to us. This is part of our excitement. Whenever we do a game, we try to make the game that we would really want to go out and buy ourselves. And this one is very, very different for us. We know it's different for our fans. But it's also the first game that we can really experience with them. And that part of it is really important to us. And I don't think people really understand how exciting that is for everybody at all the studios. Yeah.
It's exciting for all of us. Thank you, Todd, Jeff, Chris. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. Fallout 76 comes out November 14 on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. We'll be sharing a lot more information soon. Thank you, and a big round of applause for our panelists.
Thank you.
All righty. Okay, so there we go, gang. That was the entire live stream for Fallout 76 right there. A lot of very good stuff in there. I can see there's a couple people in the chat saying, oh, is that it? No more gameplay and stuff? We learned an awful lot in that stream. In particular, in regards to PvP. We learned a lot about that. If you want to grief in 76, there's almost no benefit to it. Unless you just want to do it for the risk of doing it, so to speak, which I think is really cool. It seems like if somebody is a griefer, it'll be more fun to hunt the griefers than it will be to actually grief. You'll lose more for griefing, which is fantastic. And you don't lose anything if you just have a normal battle, basically, which is sweet. Modding is definitely confirmed for the private servers, but we kind of knew that. I like the perk system. The perk system works really, really well. The fact that you can get certain perks, you can then upgrade said perks, which is really good. Because there were some kind of traits in the older games. They weren't called perks, they were called traits. To where you could go ahead and do that. And it's going to play a Linus Tech Tips video right now. Okay, but the stream is now offline. Stream is now done for. So yeah, that was genuinely really good. And I do like the fact that you can get pretty much any ability to swap out your perks, which is really, really cool. We know that you can go ahead and change and customize your character anytime you want, which is very, very cool. You know, you're not stuck with the same ugly mug like you are in real life, you know, unless you got money for plastic surgery and stuff like that, of course. But what else do we get? We learned some things about fast travel and stuff like that, like fast travel might cost money, might cost caps. We know that walls and stuff in your camps are destructible to a degree. We don't know how difficult it is, but they made it so that you can't go ahead and be a griefer. So I'm really happy with that. I've got no worries about PvP anymore, which is fantastic. I know a lot of people were worried about it, but honestly, I think you'll have more fun hunting griefers than you will actually fighting regular people, so to speak. And it takes a certain kind of person to want to be that person. Because you're just going to get killed instantly if you start griefing people. Everybody's going to come after you and you're not going to have any warning. And you're going to lose everything. So, that's pretty cool, actually. Patrick Connor says, will you turn into a griefer when you kill a griefer? Probably not, no. Because if he's listed as a wanted level, if he's listed as a wanted bounty, then you're a good guy at that point, aren't you? You're like a policeman if that's the case. If you go ahead and just kill a random person, then you become wanted. But if you kill someone who is wanted, you're the good guy. You know, you're Clint Eastwood at that stage, aren't you? You're going ahead and fixing the Commonwealth. Not Commonwealth, sorry. West Virginia. What else are people saying, though? Swifter for Life says, will it be in first person or third person? Looking at some of the other trailers, it's both. You know, you can swap. In fact, if you're in PvP combat, being in third person might actually help you. Because, you know, you can see over walls and stuff like that, like you can in, say, Battlegrounds and stuff. So that'll be helpful. Jennifer Montgomery says, the only real benefit to griefing will probably be so you don't have to crouch to not see any game tags. Well, it's not just that, you know, it's like, you might do it just because you think you can get away with it, you know. You do it for the fun, don't you? You do it for the fun. But as I said, you know, there's no reward for successfully griefing people. But you can lose stuff if you grief people. So that's really, really cool. I like that. I think it's very cool. Sometimes it might actually be fun, like doing a live stream and say, okay, we're going to go wanted now. We're going to go see how long we can be wanted for without dying. It'll kind of be like when you deliberately, you know, spawn in the tank in Grand Theft Auto 3, or 5, I should say, just to see how many wanted stars you can get and how long you can go before the players get you, before the police get you. It'll be like that, you know. That would be a good thing to do on live streams and stuff like that with the griefing and stuff like that. And, yeah, honestly, I think it's really, really cool. I think it's really cool. I do like the perk system. As I said, it feels more like a loadout than, you know, the kind of traditional perk systems of a Fallout game. A traditional perk system in the Fallout games would be, you know, it would be that you pick it and then you're stuck with it. But since you could change them out, you pick it for the situation that is important. So, you know, you could go ahead and maybe go ahead and get the ones which have charisma when you're playing with your friends. Because if you're playing with your friends, then you can go ahead and share your perks out if you have charisma perks invested as well. So that would be great. Once you hit level 50, you can't go ahead and... Well, what was it? So they said when you hit level 50, you can't invest any more points into your special. So how many are there? 7. You could, in theory, max out 5 of the 7 special lists. And I think that works, but that's not the level cap, of course. You get the perk card packs. As soon as I saw that little card pack, shining gold, I thought, ooh, can you buy them? But they said you get them every 2 levels, so I doubt it, really. It seems like it would be unnecessary risk, balance-wise, to go ahead and make them available for purchase. I would just really like to go ahead and see cosmetic DLC, you know? I think that would be fine. Maybe more music tracks or something. I don't know, stuff like that. I think that would be great as a way to go ahead and finance the DLC rather than selling the perk packs. And, what was the other thing? We obviously talked about the nuclear weapon system and stuff like that. It pretty much confirmed what I'd said, you know. It was like, there's no real reason to use it to destroy people's camps and stuff like that. It's there just to make the high level area, you know. That's all it's for, is to make the high level area. Everything else is just for... Everything else is just going to be a waste of a nuke, essentially. So, I think that's really good news as well. Again, I like the fact that with the PvP system, you actually get a reward if you engage in a fair battle. That's exactly what I theorized. I theorized that if 2 players want to engage in PvP, you know, like one guy initiates the duel and the other guy agrees, then there's rewards then. And if somebody doesn't want to, there's punishment. So it's perfect, you know, if you want to go ahead and do PvP, it's fantastic, you can go ahead and do that, and you can get rewarded, and even if you lose, it sounded like you don't lose anything, except, you know, junk, maybe. So I think it works really, really well. Mr. Awesome says, I can't wait to see mutations, and will it mess with your character's looks? That's a good thing, actually, yeah, they talked about the mutations, and in the cartoon, it showed the person physically changing. I wonder if that's something that happens. Because... I don't know if I'd want to suddenly spawn bird legs. As fun as that would be, as funny as that would be, that's a bit too meme, you know? It's like, oh no, we've got a load of birdmen up in here again, you know? But, and also, since you could go ahead and change your appearance anytime you wanted to, then you could go ahead and do that. You could make it so that it changes your physical body. But if you really didn't like that, you could change it if you wanted to. But say if it's like, hey, this perk gives me an extra eyeball in the center of my head. Yeah, I'll keep it. It looks kind of fun. But, I think that works. What else are people saying in the chat, though? Dale Gribble says, I can see people with bounties pulling the plug when they get shot. Well, that's the thing, you know. Will it last? Will it last, you know? Because sometimes when you get an online game, if you suddenly quit out like that, there is some kind of a punishment. Or sometimes your character does just stay still. You know, even if you're not actually connected to the game anymore, often the character will still stay still, so you can't escape like that. And the thing is, it seems like it would genuinely be a hard way to play the game, being wanted all the time. Because, you know, being wanted and going ahead and grieving, that's fun for a bit. But after a while, you're going to get a bit sick of it, aren't you? You're going to get a bit sick of not being able to properly fast travel. You're going to get a bit sick of not seeing other people on the map, you know? What if you want to meet up with your friends and you're wanted? It'll be hard to find them, or harder to get to each other. So honestly, I do think the anti-griefing mechanics is exactly that. It is anti-grief, which is fantastic. Grand Fallout says, Render, please explain the perk cards. Okay, we'll just quickly talk about this again. Every time you level up, you get to put a point into your special. You know, your strength, your perception, intelligence, etc. And then, every time you do that, you can invest one of those points, say your strength 1 or your intelligence 1, into a perk card. And then you can go ahead and upgrade perk cards you already have, or you can go ahead and add a new one that you have unlocked using the card packs. And the card packs you get every 5 levels, I think they said. So you get to level 5, they give you, I don't know, 10 cards. And then you can say, oh, I would like to get that one. I'll invest some more points into intelligence, for example. And then once you've got that, you can then add it to your specials pack. But you can go ahead and change them out as much as you want. Because eventually you will have hundreds of cards to choose from. But you've only got a certain amount of special points, 50 in total. So you've got to decide, do I want to go ahead and put most of my stuff into strength, so I'll be really good with my strength ones? Because later on down the line, intelligence might be more important. So, you know, you've got to kind of balance it out, but also pick the ones that are more tailored to you. So, like, if you're always playing in a squad, you might want to go ahead and get some charisma ones. Maybe go ahead and get some of the intelligence ones, so you can maybe be better at medical stuff, for example. But if you play solo, you might want to go ahead and get things like perception and endurance, so you can carry more and also see more, you know, on the VATs and stuff like that. Get more accurate with VATs and stuff like that. So, it's pretty good. Biohazard says, open the GIF folder on your desktop. Oh, okay, there's nothing exciting there, really. Just some of the ones I use on a live stream. There's a random anime one that I found on Cordless 7's Discord. That's a fun one. Beaker, right there. Carlton. We got the one yesterday. That is from Quake Champions, a Doom guy. Scared Cat. That's a video. That's not actually a GIF, but that's Jeff Goldblum looking at a pile of poo. Doom guy. That was a stranger meme. That was a meme from the Build-A-Bear thing in the UK. Go look that up. I'm not going to tell the story. And we got the thing from the Patriot right there, which I showed on 4th of July. So there you go. That was my gift folder. But yeah, it seems like go ahead and pick perks as much as you want. Change them as much as you want. You get new perks every 5 levels. And I think it's pretty darn good. You can go ahead and pick the ones which make you good by yourself. Or you can go ahead and pick the ones which make you good in a squad. Or you can go ahead and change them up as much as you want. You know what I mean? There's plenty of options for it. And I'm generally looking forward to it. I do think they explained more good stuff than made questions. You know, a lot of the times when they've addressed certain things, they've often made more questions. But with this little live stream, I think they actually went ahead and gave more positive answers than made more questions. But there are some certain things. Late to the Fallout says, I'll need one that allow me to carry more as I'm such a hoarder. Well, me too. But maybe not, actually, Late to the Fallout. Because they also said that you don't just have your camp to go ahead and store stuff. They also have little stashes to where you can store stuff. So you might not actually have to carry stuff around all the time. You might be able to move stuff as much as you want, which I think is pretty darn sweet. Kevin Birdline says, this is exactly what I like about Final Render. He tries to explain everything to help us not freak out. Oh, I try to be nice. I try to explain things in the best way possible. I try not to look for the negatives. I try to look for the positives. So I hope that helps you. What are some questions have we got? Baka Templar Gaming says, Render, I wish they explained what we can do with our caps. Yeah, that'd be nice. That would be nice. All we know about the caps so far is that it might cost caps to fast travel to certain destinations, but presumably your camp, the vaults, for example, they'll be free to fast travel to. But also, you can go ahead and lose them if you get killed when you're wanted. But yeah, I would really like to go ahead and know. I'd really like to go ahead and know what kind of things we can buy with our caps and stuff like that. Daxon Doggo says, are you on the Fallout Amino or is that a fake account? I really want to know. No, that is me. They did approach me and ask if to get involved with the Amino stuff, and I did. And yeah, that is actually me, buddy. So don't worry about that. And yes, I do recognize your name. And Late to the Forest says, one building and I'll be overloaded with stuff. Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I do like the idea that people can't take your loot in your camp. You know, the whole point of it is that if you've got some amazing loot, you've got to store it in your camp. That's your goal. Once it's in your camp, it's done. It's in your camp, it's safe. But if you get killed, you will drop your junk. You know, your toasters, your screws, your adhesives and stuff like that. You'll drop them. And you need to go and get them. It's exactly like Dark Souls. You know, it's exactly like Dark Souls. It's like, do I really want to go back all the way over there just to go and get those screws? Man, I don't know. You know, but if it's a lot of stuff you lost, it'll be an idea to go ahead and make the effort to go back and get it. Or, you know, it is just junk, you'll find more. You know, but you won't lose your guns, you won't lose your armor or anything like that, which I think is really, really good. I think that's fantastic. The True Gamer says, are they going to be private servers? They did say that. By the sound of it, it's looking like they're not going to be available at launch. But you will be able to get private servers, and there will be modding in there. We don't know if that includes, like, free mods from, say, Nexus, or if it's just Bethesda.net stuff. It wouldn't surprise me if it's just Bethesda.net stuff, but in the end, it's not the end of the world, Bethesda.net. Bethesda.net is just a horrible website to use, basically. That's the main thing. And yeah, there's restrictions on Bethesda.net, but that's only for the consoles. That's not really to do with Bethesda.net. That's more to do with the limitations set by Microsoft and Sony. The only reason modders don't really like using Bethesda.net is because it's a horrible website to use. It can only upload, like, what, 8 photos, stuff like that, you know, it's not very nice. But what else are people saying? Baka Templar Gaming again says, I like the part where you can blueprint your builds, so it means you can move your buildings. Yeah, I like that stuff. And I think the nice thing about being able to move it is like what they said, you know, you might want to go ahead and put it somewhere safe nearby when you start, but then again, as the game gets older, as you get further off into the landscape, you don't want to travel so far. And again, you know, if certain fast travel locations cost caps to fast travel to, you're going to want to bring your camp around, you know, because that'll be like a free respawn point. So I think that'll be important. Jennifer Montgomery says the stash system will be useful because you can store things at each location to save it for a time or later date. Yes, but here's something else I noticed. I didn't actually, I don't remember where it's from. I don't have a photo of it. It's from the NoClip documentary. But we can see the player looking through their Pip-Boy. And they went over an item. I think it was either some junk or it was like a gun or something. And it said, transfer item to camp, cost X amount of caps. So if you find a really good gun or something, but you can't carry it, you could probably go ahead and pay some caps to travel it back to your camp. You know, just wirelessly, so to speak. Which will be cool, which will be really cool. But if you don't have the caps, of course, you might just have to walk all the way back to your camp to do that. You know? So I think that's a really good thing. Dale Gribble says, playing as a raider could work if you stalked someone or ambushed them after they looted an area. Well, yes, absolutely. You know, you can go ahead and do that, but everybody will know where you are. But you won't know where anyone else is, you know? Everyone is saying, but if you can see everybody on the map, then what's the kind of point in PvP and stuff like that? But if you go ahead and kill people willy-nilly, you can't see anyone then. So all of a sudden, you're completely alone. And that's when the real hunting will begin, you know? If you're wanted, someone will know you're in a rough area. That's when you got to be clever. That's when you got to be cunning. You know what I mean? If you want to go ahead and do that. But True Gamer says, could we get killed as soon as we leave the vault? Not by players. When you go ahead and leave the vault, you can't go in and be killed by other players until level 5. So no. You could probably be killed by monsters, I suppose. But I doubt they'll have high-level monsters right as you exit the vault. You know what I mean? And I think the game is going to be really, really good. I think it's going to be really, really special. And I'm generally looking forward to it. The game is out in, well, it's out in November, technically. But realistically, since the beta is out in October, and there's no real restrictions on the game, realistically speaking, the game is out in October. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really looking forward to hearing about the news about new graphics cards from Nvidia, because if I can get a new graphics card for the computer, and I can afford an Xbox One, I might just have to do that if it's a huge amount of time difference, rent one for a month. But I don't really want to do that, obviously. What else is there? Jennifer Montgomery says, oh, so the stash system will be like the boxes in Fallout New Vegas where it sends stuff to a designated location once you close the door. It does sound like that, but it does cost caps to do so. So you might want to only go ahead and do it for stuff you really can't carry. Say if you find a fat man or something and you really can't carry it, but you want to keep it, you can travel it back to your camp for a certain amount of caps. Nogul Kante says, release date, the actual game is out on November 14th. Still no release date on the beta. We just know the beta is starting in October, and it is coming out on Xbox One first. We don't know how much further the distances are, the time differences are between them. I hope it's just like a day or two. If it's like it's out on Xbox One 3 weeks before, I might just have to rent or buy an Xbox One. But I don't want to do that because that would be nonsense. And Mitchell Reese says, can't wait for October, so ready to binge play for days. Well, you're going to have to wait till October, I'm afraid. You're going to have to. Wanted Robot says, perk packs, you think? I hope these are not transactions, microtransactions. By the sounds of it, they are an integral part to leveling up. If you can just buy the perk packs, then there is almost no reason to level up or even play the game by the sound of it. And not only that, but you need to level up in order to use them anyway. So, it's possible to go ahead and have them as an actual microtransaction. But it just doesn't seem like they will. Not only that, but they've also stated that all kind of microtransactions will be cosmetic only. So, it'll be very easy to go ahead and do that as a microtransaction, but I honestly don't think they will. It doesn't seem to make sense, realistically speaking. What else is there? True Gamer says, did they say it's 4 times the size of the Fallout 4 map? Yes, it is 4 times the size of the Fallout 4 map. And I worked it out. That is approximately a 1/4 square mile larger than Skyrim. So that kind of puts it into perspective. You know, True Gamer was asking this, and it makes sense, you know, about the same size as Skyrim I think works. And a lot of people were saying, well, how's it going to work if it's that much bigger than Fallout 4? Size of Skyrim. Best way to basically sum it up. What else is there? Go ahead and read some of these then. Michael Pinotan says, can we voice area when PvP and tell the person not to kill us? Yeah, by the sounds of it. I mean, as long as they're not too far away, it's based on a proximity voice system. So if someone's really far away with a sniper rifle, they might not hear you. But if someone's near you and they're attacking you, you could just say, dude, please don't attack me. I really don't want to. And, you know, from my experience in online games, sometimes people are just like, okay, no worries, buddy. Or, you know, they can invite you to trade and stuff like that. I would like it that if you're in a squad, you could go ahead and talk to each other wirelessly. That would be nice. You know, maybe the pit boy has got a radio or something. So if you're in a squad with someone, you can talk to each other no matter how far away you are. I think that'd be sweet. It'll help you find each other and stuff like that. And I think it's going to be really, really good. Grand Fallout says, what about the folklore? They didn't actually touch on the folklore, the monsters and stuff like that. They were mostly just talking about the perk systems and answer some of the questions about the nukes and the PvP and stuff like that. So we'll have to just wait until we play the game, really. By the sounds of it, the folklore stuff, it's just an excuse to make some cool monsters, you know? I don't think it's really going to be too in-depth. I don't think you're going to have to go on a mystery to find out how the Mothman was made. But that would be very cool if they could integrate something like that. And Torgy Bear says, do you think that Bethesda would actually release special/perk cards to make more money as a collectible or a game? Well, we've already... Oh, you mean in real life? I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be cool. I mean, I think they did that with The Witcher, didn't they? They had the Gwent card game. So maybe you could go ahead and make like a perk card pack as a collectible. They said hundreds, didn't they? So yeah, you could totally go ahead and sell those. Just as like a collectible, you know, put it on the shelf. I think that'd be quite sweet. I suppose the question though is that every perk has got multiple levels, isn't it? So would they give you like a gladiator perk 1, 2, and 3, or just give you a gladiator card? You know, I don't know. But I think it's just a very cool and simple way to go ahead and integrate the perks. Although I don't think they should be called perks. They should be called traits, because that's what they are by the sound of it. If you play the older Fallout games, they're typically what they are describing are traits, basically. So, you know, little bonuses every time you level up, except you can change them about, which I think is really, really cool. Burkat Boskurt says, is there a story mode? They didn't actually talk about the story mode in this, but we have been told that there is a main story and a main quest. A lot of people have theorized, and some people have said it's confirmed, but I haven't found any of the interviews confirming it. But saying it is about finding some people who left Vault 76 before you, and that's what the main quest is about. Because if we look at all the trailers and stuff, all the dates on the Pip-Boys is 5 years after the vault was meant to open. So I kind of theorize that maybe some people left on Reclamation Day, which is 20 years after the vault was meant to open, and 20 years after the war, sorry. But then they never came back, so you just waited around for an extra 5 years, and now you have to go find them. You know, because it's like, we were meant to hear from them 5 years ago, but they haven't come back, let's go out and find them, you know? And what else is there? And Mr. Awesome says, no, the story is the multiplayer game. Ah, you see, that's the problem, which I think a lot of people are having. A lot of people hear multiplayer and they think, you know, arena modes and stuff like that, but no. There are plenty of multiplayer games which have progressive stories throughout the multiplayer. The only difference is, every human you see is an actual human. But some great examples are things like Elite Dangerous. As I said, I've already played. I've played a lot of Elite Dangerous, actually. That's got a distinctive story mode that runs at the same pace for everybody. There is also things like, well, the obvious one is World of Warcraft. You know, that's constantly getting expansion packs and stuff, and that is one continuous story, or multiple continuous stories. So, they do have a main story. They do have an overall through line, because otherwise it's just, you know, multiplayer deathmatches, essentially, or Battlefield, or Counter-Strike, you know, it's like, they don't necessarily have stories, but this does. The only difference is, if you see another human, it's an actual person. That's about it. Vindicator Win says, you got Dr. Pepper? Yep, I've been swigging it throughout the entire live stream, and it's been fantastic. It's really helped keep me going, the Dr. Pepper. What else are people saying? I really like the fact that they confirmed lots of radio music and stuff. A lot of people were saying, if there's no NPCs, who's going to control the radio? I guess it's like a robotic radio or a pre-recorded radio. And they've got more tracks than any other Fallout game, which I love. Because Fallout 4 used a lot of the same audio from Fallout 3. And that kind of annoyed me, because it's like, I kind of got bored of those songs in Fallout 3, and now you got the same ones. Okay, it was like 10 years ago, but you know what I'm saying. It's good to know that they got lots of cool music and stuff like that. And some of it sounds a bit different in the context of Fallout, which I really, really like. I think that's kind of cool. Like Atom Bomb Baby, for example. Great song. Very different in the world of Fallout, though. Sir James III says, hi, sorry I'm late. How much did I miss? I'm afraid you missed the entire thing, buddy. You missed the entire conference. Although I will have this entire kind of live stream up and ready to go for you guys to watch pretty much now. You know, you can watch it from the beginning. But that being said, though, I do think I need to go ahead and end the stream now. I want to go ahead and make a video talking about everything that we've just learned and actually upload that to the channel. I don't know when that'll be online. I'd like to get it online tonight if possible, but let's find out. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this live stream, guys. It's been nice, actually. We've learned a lot of really cool stuff. We've seen a lot of comments and stuff from you guys, and it's been really good fun. And if you enjoyed any of this, then please consider going ahead and supporting the Patreon or subscribing to the channel if you are new. And it's been absolutely fantastic to go ahead and watch this live stream with you guys. It's been good fun. As I said, I'm going to go ahead and try to make a video now very quickly, you know, because that's always the case whenever new news comes out. It's like, right, let's quickly go ahead and get some news out there. So, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to end it there, and I will see you around. Remember to go ahead and like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you around. Bye-bye, gang. Bye-bye.